Have you ever wondered if the AI creating your favorite images, music, or even this very script is a genius inventor or a sophisticated thief? Welcome to the multi-billion-dollar question that's shaking the creative world to its core. Is AI-generated content brilliant innovation or just high-tech plagiarism? Let's break it down. At the heart of this debate are generative AI models. Think of them as incredibly talented students. To learn how to create a picture of a cat in a spacesuit, they don't just magically know what that looks like. They study or train on millions, even billions, of existing images of cats, spacesuits, and everything in between from the internet. They learn patterns, styles, and concepts. Then, when you give them a prompt, they use that vast knowledge to generate something entirely new. Sounds pretty cool, right? But here's where it gets messy. Where did all that training data come from? It came from us. From artists, photographers, writers, musicians, creators who poured their heart and soul into their work, much of which is protected by copyright. This has led to a storm of lawsuits. Artists are looking at AI-generated images and seeing uncanny resemblances to their unique styles. Authors are discovering their books were used without permission to teach language models how to write. The big argument from the artist's side is pretty straightforward. You used my work to build your product and now you're profiting from it. That's copyright infringement. They argue that if an AI learns from copyrighted material, the output it creates is a derivative work, something that legally requires permission from the original creator. Think of it like sampling a song. You can't just take a beat from a famous track, rap over it, and call it your own without clearing the rights first. The artists feel AI companies have effectively sampled the entire internet without asking. On the flip side, the tech giants behind these AI models have a different take. They argue that the way AI learns is similar to how humans learn. A human artist doesn't learn in a vacuum. They go to museums, they study the great masters, they read books, they're inspired by the world around them. Does that mean every piece of art they create is a plagiarism of their inspirations? Of course not. They synthesize those influences into something new. Tech companies claim their AIs are doing the same thing, just on a massive digital scale. They aren't storing and copying the images, they're learning the underlying patterns. They often defend this under the legal doctrine of fair use. Fair use is a complex part of copyright law that allows for the limited use of copyrighted material without permission for purposes like criticism, commentary, news reporting, teaching, and research. The tech companies argue that training an AI is a transformative use. The purpose is not to replace the original work, but to create a new tool. This is the central legal battleground. Is training an AI a transformative act of research, or is it a massive, unauthorized commercial reproduction? Let's look at some of the key players. Getty Images, a massive stock photo company, is suing Stability AI, the creators of Stable Diffusion. Getty alleges that Stability AI copied over 12 million of its images without permission to train its model. As evidence, they've even shown how the AI sometimes generates images that include a distorted version of the Getty Images watermark. That's a pretty awkward piece of evidence for the defense. Then you have a class action lawsuit brought by artists like Sarah Anderson, Kelly McKernan, and Carla Ortiz. They argue that these AI models can replicate their personal, unique styles with startling accuracy. An artist spends a lifetime developing a style that is their signature, their brand. Now anyone can type in the style of artist's name and get a similar result in seconds. This, they claim, devalues their work and threatens their livelihoods. It's not just about a single image, it's about the theft of their artistic identity. Even the New York Times has entered the ring, suing OpenAI and Microsoft. The Times argues that these AI models were trained on millions of their articles, and now chatbots can spit out answers that directly compete with their own reporting, sometimes reciting their articles almost verbatim without providing a link back. This undermines their subscription model and the very business of journalism. So, where does this leave us? The courts are currently grappling with these landmark cases, and the outcomes will reshape the future of creativity and technology. There are a few possible paths forward. One path is that the courts could rule in favor of the AI companies, agreeing that training on public data falls under fair use. This would be a huge win for big tech and would likely accelerate AI development at an even more explosive pace. For creators, it might mean they need to adapt, finding new ways to integrate AI into their work or focusing on aspects of creativity that machines can't replicate, like live performance or physical art. Another possibility is that the courts side with the creators. This could mean AI companies would have to pay massive licensing fees for the data they've already used. It could force them to rebuild their models from scratch using only licensed or public domain content. This would undoubtedly slow down AI development and could make these tools much more expensive and less accessible. It might lead to the creation of ethical licensed datasets, creating a new market for data. A third, more likely outcome is a middle ground. We might see new laws and regulations specifically designed for AI. Perhaps a system of compulsory licensing where AI companies pay a small fee for each piece of data used, with the money going into a fund for creators. Or maybe a system where AI outputs are watermarked and creators are compensated when their style is clearly invoked. This would be a complex solution, but it might be the only way to balance innovation with the rights of individual creators. This isn't just a legal or technical issue, it's a deeply human one. What does it mean to be an artist in the age of AI? If a machine can create a masterpiece, what is the value of human creativity? I believe the answer is that human creativity will always have a unique value. It's tied to our experiences, our emotions, our stories. AI is a powerful tool, perhaps the most powerful creative tool ever invented. It can be a collaborator, an assistant, a source of endless inspiration. But a tool is only as good as the person wielding it. The real innovation won't just be in building smarter AI, but in figuring out how we, as a society, can use this incredible technology ethically and equitably. It's about ensuring that the future is one where technology empowers human creativity, rather than replaces it. It's a debate about the future of art, commerce, and what we value as a culture. And the final verdict is still being written. What do you think? Is AI a tool for innovation or a machine for plagiarism? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.